welcome back to my channel. I am still in New York, so if you're looking at the background, you're like, girl, where are you? I'm still in New York. We're going back to LA next week. I hope that everyone is having an amazing day and Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2019, which is so crazy. If you did miss my last upload, I let you guys know that while I'm in New York, I'm just uploading one video a week. But once I return back home to LA, the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday schedule will kick back off. I have to say, 2018 I was really proud of. There were some years that I was like, you know what, I could have done more, or I'm not where I wanted to be. But 2018, I can actually say, like, you know what, I tried my best. I set goals and I achieved a lot of those goals on my list. And of course, there's things that I want to carry into 2019 that I didn't do in 2018. I'm not saying that I did everything I want to do, but there was a lot of things that towards the end of 2017, I prioritized and I felt like I did get done in 2018. One of the things was traveling and going on vacations, and we did that in 2018, and that was so cool. We moved into our new house. I mean, how many videos from way back when have you guys heard of me say, like, I want to attract getting a house someday. I want a house. I want a house. I want a bigger kitchen. I want a white kitchen. And to be able to say that I got that in 2018 is pretty cool. So I feel like I have a good system of setting and achieving goals, and it's realistic as well. And I think one of the most important things, we're gonna go over my 5 most important things and what I personally do, but I think one of the most important things that I don't even have on my list, but I just want to say is, if you believe in yourself and you invest in yourself, it will be the best investment you will ever do. A lot of you guys know I talk about finances. I've been recently talking about finances on Instagram stories, and I did a little bit in another video, but I told you guys that I like to invest. One of the safest investments you can ever have, because people always ask, like, okay, what do you invest in? One of the safest investments you can ever have is investing in you, because you can control that, you can measure that, and you will put in the work. You don't have to rely on somebody else. It's all you. You can be a girl boss. It doesn't matter what happened last year. If you decide this year you're investing in yourself and you're gonna make your dreams come true, you're gonna get a nice return on that. So how to achieve your goals in 2019, how to plan them, how to achieve them. Tip number 1 is to not have a plan B. So a lot of people don't talk about this because I think that it could be a little scary. It could also kind of be a little confusing, so I thought we could talk about that. But yeah, so don't have a plan B. If you have a plan right now, what you want to do, what you want to achieve in 2019, go for it. Don't say, okay, well, I'm gonna work on this, but I'm also gonna do this at the same time just in case that doesn't work out. I always feel like if you have a plan B, if you have a backup plan, that's your plan to fail. And I know that that can be a little harsh, but I personally lived that. My first year in college, I didn't do so well because I had 2 plans. And my dad was like, that's a horrible idea. And he told me that before I even enrolled in college. He was like, either don't go to college and pursue that, or go to college and just pursue college. You know, I'm not talking about you can't get a part-time job in college and then that's a plan B. I'm not talking about that. I think it's different if you have to support yourself. Say you want to work on your business and you do have to support yourself with a day job, and then you can work on your business after hours and on the weekend. I think that that's completely different. That's not what I'm saying. That's not having a plan B, because how I see it is having a part-time job in college isn't a plan B. It's just a means to an end. Maybe you're paying for your own schooling, or it's your money so that you can, you know, spend a little when you're in college. I also babysat in college, and that was a way for me to make money while I was going to school. So anybody who's watching this that is like, well, I have to support myself while I'm working on this career, that's completely different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 2 different paths. So maybe you want to be a hairstylist, but you're like, you know what if I'm not good at it? I'm gonna enroll in hair school, but I'm also gonna go to college and go to school for being a nurse. Those are 2 different careers, and they're going to take, both of them are going to require a lot of your energy. If you're going to hair school, you really should be, you know, doing hair on the weekends. And then the same thing with nursing, you know, on weekends, maybe forming study groups and stuff. So both of them are going to require a lot of your energy. And I think nowadays people wanna have a backup plan, or your parents might ask you, what's your backup plan? Because they wanna know you're gonna be safe. And maybe you wanna have that safety, and you want to have that comfort that if this doesn't work out, I at least have that. But to me, what ends up happening is you actually plan for a failure. It's kind of like the law of attraction. You're already planning that that's not going to work out for you and that you need to have this backup career. And then what I think inevitably happens is it doesn't work out and it does fail because you had this backup plan. I know it's a lot to take in. You know, thoughts become things. What you're putting your energy into becomes things. So I think that if you're putting your energy into failing, It's like the law of attraction, you know, you start to attract more failure, or you start to attract more of what you don't want. Okay, so step 2 is after you decide, okay, I'm gonna give this my full attention. This is what I'm gonna do for 2019. Then it's time to get the notebook out. I'm a strong believer in writing things down. I do use my laptop and I do use Google Calendar and stuff like that. And I think you can make vision boards online. But I think when you're trying to first get clear, I like to write. That's what I personally like to do. Maybe you like to type it in your computer on like a blank page, and I think that's fine too. What I like to do is use Post-its. A lot of you guys know from previous videos, I love Post-its, and what I'll do is I'll make different categories within my notebook. So I'll do, you know, travel, health, fitness, work, and that kind of stuff, and I'll put that all in my notebook, and then I'll just start writing goals that I have in each of those categories. Some people like to flip these steps, so they might say, okay, I'm gonna write everything down first, and then I'm gonna say, yeah, then I'm gonna motivate myself and say, you know, no backup plan, this and that. The reason why I like to start with pumping myself up and saying, there is no backup plan. This is it. And then I write down my goals. And the reason why I do it like that is because, do you ever find that when you start to write down all your goals, you feel overwhelmed? I know that I feel that way. I have a lot of ambition and I like to constantly be improving myself. So I think that when I write things down, I know all the hard work that's gonna have to go into it to getting that stuff completed, to do it, to achieve it. So I start to get overwhelmed. But if I come from a place of, there is no plan B, Sam, this is you, I start to feel like this sense of like rock starness. Like, okay, like I got this. And to come from this place of confidence, like, no, these are my goals. I already told myself I'm not having a plan B, and these are what I'm writing down. So for step 3, I actually have 2 things that I like to do. The first is vision board, and then the second is my 5 ways. So we know what a vision board is. We're gonna talk about that in a second, but I thought we could talk about my 5 ways rule. So I kind of got this idea from Earl Nightingale. I used to listen to a lot of his old recordings. He was a great motivator of his time, and you can find a lot of his stuff on YouTube. And he's just like, you listen to him, you're gonna feel motivated. It's so cool. In his earlier years, one of the things he used to like to do was, you know, in the morning when he's having his breakfast or having his coffee and he'd be thinking about his goal, he would write down all the ways that he could achieve that goal. In the past, I used to just write down as many as I could, but I've narrowed it down to 5 ways. I mean, if you want to keep writing, by all means, keep doing it. But say you're starting your own business and you're like, okay, how am I going to get customers? Start writing it down. What are all the ways that you could get customers? And write down 5 things. One thing that I found unique about him is he used to do this every day. It wasn't just one day, write down 5 ways. Every morning he would jot down new ideas. Not all goals might require you doing this every single day, but there might be some. Like if you're starting from scratch, you're starting from the way beginning, this might be a fun thing to do and to give you this sense of security that there's a lot of different ways that your dreams could unfold. You know how they always say, like, especially in law of attraction, ask for what you want, but don't get so obsessed with how it's gonna happen. Allow it to happen in the way the universe or God or whoever, allow it to happen how they're gonna make it happen. You know, allow it to just manifest. Don't worry so much about how, but worry about what you want and that you know it's gonna come, but don't worry so much about the how. I found that if you are a worrywart, sometimes I can be a worrywart. I get that from my mom, we're little worrywarts. If you are that way and you get so obsessed with the process, how it's gonna happen, start writing down your 5 ways, and I guarantee you're gonna feel a lot better and you're gonna see, wow, there's a lot of different ways that this can manifest for me. 3B is to make a vision board. So last year I made a vision board. I wanted to work with Target, and then this year I worked with Target. A little announcement. This video is actually in collaboration with Target. Oh my God. That was so freaking cool. But I have everything on there, from personal goals, bettering myself goals, you know, my spiritual self. What I think is really cool is there are so many ways you can make vision boards. I used to make the old school ones where I would get, which I still think work by the way, where I would get a big piece of white poster board and I would just start printing things off my computer because I want them to be specific. I know sometimes I used to cut things out of magazines, but for me, I want it to be really specific, so I would just start printing stuff off. You know, last year I printed out the Target logo and I said I want to work with Target, and then this year I did. So it was in 2018 I did, and it was just really inspiring to me and it was really powerful. So I do think that vision boards 1000% work, but I think you just need to find which ways they're gonna work for you. So are you going to actually get a physical one and print stuff off your computer and glue them on, or are you going to make a computerized one? So lately I've been making Pinterest boards. So I do have a public Pinterest, but I do have some boards that I keep private, and they're my dream boards. I don't even call them vision boards, I call them my dream boards, and there are different things I want to attract. It's crazy how things do manifest just by writing something down. So like we talked about in tip 2, writing it down, but also looking at it, having that visual aspect in there, saying like, okay, this is how I kind of want it to look. And the cool thing about making a vision board is then when you do achieve it, you know you had that on your vision board. You know it's kind of like the proof. You saw that, okay, I wrote this down, I put it on my vision board, I achieved it. You can actually measure that, hey, this worked for me. And I know that for me, it does work. So I think however you want to go about creating a vision board is totally fine. I just think make one. And I think if you haven't made one, definitely make one for 2019 because they do work. It's proven that if you write something down and you look at it, you're going to think about it. It's going to be stored in your subconscious mind. I always tell you guys, research the subconscious mind. It's pretty cool. All the things that you're thinking during the day, your subconscious mind stores everything and it actually knows how to do everything. So all the goals you want to achieve, it knows how to do. The hard part is actually accessing the subconscious mind. So that's why dreams are really important and looking at things before bed, because you start to put things together. It's really crazy. That's a whole nother video. It's really important to have the writing aspect, the visual aspect, the plan, knowing what you're gonna do. I think overall what this is getting you to do, all the steps we've mentioned so far, is giving you a clear picture of how you're going to do it. I think that when we don't have a clear picture, we're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and just kind of like go with the flow, see how it works. Like I'm very much that person. You guys know in my household, you know, Jared does a lot of the planning stuff and I'm more of the free fairy. I always call myself a fairy. As far as goals go, I've always been crystal clear with what exactly I want, and it's not to say that I'm not open to things manifesting or unfolding in a different way. It's just to say that I know the plan, I know the path that I'm on and the path that I want to be on. And it's totally fine if you say this is what I want to do in 2019, but I don't really know how to get it. That's why I think the 5 ways rule, and that's why I think the vision board helps so much, because it starts to narrow down what exactly you do want. Because we always talk about law of attraction, you can't be talking about what you don't want. You can't say 2019 I don't want to attract this. Number 4 is to implement. I think that if you neglect this step, if you don't take action, talk about what you want to do but you don't do it, you're not gonna. And I find that when I'm strict with myself, so when I say, okay, tomorrow morning I'm waking up at 5:30, and then let's say I don't, I start to kind of not take myself seriously. I'll be like, ah, tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I'm like, I'll wake up at 5:30. And then in the back of my mind, I know, no, I'm not. And it's almost like you're your own worst enemy. It's like you're not your cheerleader anymore because you already don't believe in yourself. You're like, I won't. Like, I didn't yesterday. The same thing with the snacking. I told myself recently, I was like, okay, stop snacking on holiday treats. And then I did. And then the next day I was like, I'm not going to. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, but I might. I think the more strict you can be with yourself, or more disciplined, I should say. I don't really like the word strict, but the more disciplined you can be, the more you start to prove to yourself that you mean business. My biggest tip for implementing is take yourself seriously. And if you say something, be a woman or a man of your word. There is nothing more important than that. You know, if you're meeting up with a friend and you come up with a time you're gonna meet, be there at that time. Start doing little things, even if that's not on your list, if that's not on your goals. Be a person of your word, because I notice that you start to carry that in your habits. One way that I like to implement my goals is start adding it into my daily planning. So start adding little ways to add your goals into those daily things, because I think that when you think of it like bigger picture, like this year, you start to think you have so much time. But think about how fast 2018 went. It went like that. So what I start doing is planning it into my daily routine. I showed you guys in my recent vlog that while we've been in New York, I said it was important to me to, you know, join a gym while I'm here, you know, work out while I'm here. And if I didn't plan that into my daily routine, I would have just said, oh, when I go back to LA and get back into like my regular routine, my regular life, I'm going to work out again. But why not start now? Then that brings me to step number 5, which is my last step, and that is to have a positive attitude. I mean, if you have a positive attitude, people want to help you get to the next level. So you're not going to be doing it on your own. You're gonna have the family support, you're gonna have the friend support, and also it feels better. Like, it feels better to get excited about your goals than to look at them and be like, oh, I have so much to do, this sucks, I'm never gonna do it. Do you think anybody wants to be around you when you're like that? No. And also, on top of that, do you think you like being around you when you're like that? No. You'll never look back and go, damn it, I was too positive. If you're looking to better yourself, you're looking to you know, get to the next level in your career. All of those things are positive changes. So how can you expect to get any of those if you're coming from a negative place? You can't get a positive outcome with a negative attitude. It won't happen. One way, if you're like, you know what, I'm so negative, I don't know how I'm gonna just start being more positive. One way is, I know it's cliche, genuinely be grateful for breathing. Like literally, think about it. Like you're breathing right now. You're watching this YouTube video right now. You have a good life. Even if you might not think so, you do. You have food, you have shelter. Come from that place and I promise you will stay positive. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of how I crushed my goals, how I achieved my goals, and how I will be planning my goals for 2019. I already have a bunch planned. Please comment down below, what are your goals in 2019? What do you want to achieve? Remember, we talked about writing it down is the most important thing. So comment down below, what do you have to lose? Family gives the best advice, so you never know. So I love you all. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.